let's talk embodied astrology for this full moon happening on December 18, 19, just a few days before the kind of final Saturn-Uranus square. I don't want to dive into that yet. What do I want to do? There's so much astrology talk out there. I kind of want to, in this particular video, give you some feels on things that might not be being talked about. Also, some ways to lean into the current energetics in order to have the best holiday season ever, to have the best end of year moving into the new year that you possibly can. So for me, it's not just, this is happening and this is happening and this is happening. For me, it's here are the benevolent, beautiful energies and things we can lean into to not only get the most out of this, but to do it like with aliveness, with joy, with fulfillment in the midst of kind of insanity for some of us, right? For some of us, this holiday season is wild. All right, so let's dive into this. First aspect I want to talk about is Shiva is conjunct, same degree, like so extremely conjunct, the sun in this full moon. This is, to me, so crazy beautiful. I won't talk too much about it. I'll refer you to the video I just did on the divine masculine. There's practices in there. There's embodiment practices in there. There's a lot of conversation around how to access this Shiva energy, how to lean into it, how it can open more of our own feminine aspects, how it can help, if that's not our aim, which it's not everyone's aim is to open all of our feminine aspects, but it can help us to find purpose, alignment, our directional force. So Shiva being conjunct the sun, right? The sun is a masculine energy. It's primary energy of self if you look at it in astrology terms. So if we have primary energy of self as the sun in a full moon aspect, which means things are kind of coming to a culmination. There's a lot of energy. It's very, very lit up. And we have that aspect, that primary aspect, sun, masculine aspect of self conjunct Shiva, which is a very high level aspect of divine masculine. It is like consciousness itself. Can you feel that? And if you're not feeling that, just feel into consciousness itself as this energy that can permeate everything. Right? It's consciousness itself. It's like I can take my awareness, and of course you kind of have to practice some of this. For some of us, it comes very naturally, but so if you're like, I don't know about this, Sabrina, but just feel with me, just hang out with me and like burrow into me, tune into me for a minute, and you might feel something. But if we take our own awareness and our own, I'm just going to use the word awareness. Like, what are you aware of? What are you tuned into? What are you thinking about? What are you focused on? And if you were to just take all of your awareness, like quick, pull it all right in here, like right to your third eye area, right into your head. You just pull it all in, all in, all in, all of your awareness, all of your consciousness, everything is right here. And then you allow it to expand out, expand out, expand out, expand out. It expands out beyond your mind, beyond your head, and it expands out to fill the room that you're in. Just see if you can do that. Just see if you can do that. It expands out to fill the room that you're in. And see if you can expand it out a little bit further to go beyond the room that you're in. I'm giggling because when I do this practice, it just brings me joy. Like it just brings me such deep peace and deep pleasure to just permeate the world, to become consciousness itself. So that's a practice that you can do during this full moon. The gift of this is whether we're being the embodiment of it, like we were just embodying it, we were becoming that, we were kind of channeling or opening up to be able to channel consciousness itself through our beings and out into the world to, and when you get really good at this, you can direct it, right? You can you can focus it, so you can bring consciousness to permeate and penetrate something, right? You can bring consciousness to a person. You can bring consciousness to a room. You can elevate a room by literally just bringing your consciousness to it. You can elevate the energy of a room. You can elevate a project. You can move a project forward by bringing your consciousness to it. You can bring love to the feminine by bringing your consciousness to the feminine. Isn't that beautiful? And the feminine doesn't have to be a person. So, okay, let me feel into this particular. There is so much grace here. That's what I want to share in this full moon. There is so much grace here. So much grace. Shiva also brings in this consciousness, in this little practice we also did, he also brings like spirit into matter. He brings grace, divine grace. It's like bringing spirit in. You're bringing high level spiritual, divine masculine energy from the heights, and you can just bring it in, and bring it through, right? I'm kind of expressing bringing through consciousness and the gift that bringing through consciousness is, right? And the healings that can happen from that, the love that can happen from that when this channel is open and all of these things are connected, and we're all wired up right. By the way, if you want to be wired up like that, Mystery School is a great place to do that. We're doing a free week of Mystery School. I know, a free week. You get to come and hang out in sacred space and do really big practices with us for a week. And it's totally free, totally free. We just want to hold a space, open it up to everyone. Of course, you can continue on and do the 12 weeks of Mystery School with us. But even if you don't, you can do a week. So we'll put a link down below for that. Okay, so Shiva also, in this particular full moon, is bringing consciousness. So it's bringing consciousness. And there's an aspect in this of bringing consciousness to the unconscious. This also ties in with Pluto-Venus conjunction, Venus going retrograde. So let me give you the energetics, and I'll talk a little more about that particular aspect and what that's bringing. So the overall energetics is this masculine capacity, masculine gifting of bringing consciousness to the unconscious, bringing light to the dark, bringing grace to the not grace filled. Can you feel that? So there is this amazing, when we just lean in to the heights coming down, to divine masculine energy coming in, to Christ light coming through. You can feel all of those different aspects in there. Now I want to shift over and talk a little bit more about this Pluto-Venus conjunction and the embodiment of that. And it can show up in different ways. Venus, Aphrodite, feminine, beauty, right? She's the only planet that is a feminine archetype. So she kind of holds a lot around the feminine, but really love, lover, sensuality, pleasure, our bliss. And so if you feel into that aspect of self, being conjunct the aspect that is the occult, the taboo, the naughty, the bad boy energy. This now starts to get real juicy. Venus, in her Aphrodite, love-filled beauty, she's going retrograde, which is literally diving into the underworld where Pluto, Hades, is god of. This is stunning and beautiful and glorious, and can also be like hell. It can show up as our shadows coming up, our deep beliefs or thoughts around the masculine, deep fears around masculine coming up, fears around feminine coming up, fears around feminine beauty, feminine embodiment, being in a body, sexuality, sensuality, bringing up our capacity for pleasure, our capacity to receive, our capacity to be intimate, our capacity to connect. This is all being illuminated during this full moon. Full moons are illuminated. They illuminate things. So this is being illuminated. Let me feel. There's old videos of me doing dark God. I think they're called dark God or dark masculine gifting. And I'll put links below so you can dive into those. They're old. I hold a very different space now, and I teach divine masculine or dark masculine in a different way, but they're still valuable. They're still really great content. They're, I think it's a 3-part series, so it's pretty full on. But just go if that is singing to you, like, oh, I really want to understand dark God, dark masculine, Pluto, Hades energy. Also, if you're part of the community and you have the retreat Persephone Hades, the workshops where we work with those two energies, the divine masculine and the divine feminine and the sacred union in the underworld, are really, really powerful right now. So I'm sorry, I just want to share that. I know that it's not available and it's not open and it's not accessible to everyone, but in case you do have that, because I know some of you hanging out here definitely have that workshop. That's something you could dive into. If you don't have that workshop, just working in this realm of here, what are my dark desires? What are my deep desires? What are the ones that I'm afraid to tell anyone? This is what's being illuminated, right? It's on offer. And what if some of those darker hidden ones are really a part of your soul unfolding? What if they're really a part of your full expression? We say a lot of times, I want to be fully me. I want to be a wild woman. I want to be a wild man. I want to be fully expressive. I want to really step into my soul's path. Well, what if part of that is having to own those deep, hidden, dark desires? Here's a hint. It is part of it. It is. It is. It is. It is. So that's on offer. The doors to that are really wide open. Okay, let me shift gears a little bit. Actually, speaking of this dark masculine, dark feminine, underworld, and I just brought up Persephone, she's conjunct the nodes. I know she's conjunct the North Node right now. Mars will have just crossed over the South Node. I'm sharing that because they're kind of powerhouses. Mars crossing the South Node happens every 2 years. It's typically pretty intense and fiery. Right? Mars, god of war, like he brings fire, he brings passion, he brings directional force, he opens things, right? This is another masculine aspect. So he opens things and he's opening up South Node. That's like karmic past life territory. Now, he's not doing it to punish us. None of this is about punishing us. It's about evolving, right? It's about evolving or possibly seeing something to heal something or possibly something coming up in our karmic backpack. It doesn't have to be past life. You don't even have to believe in past lives. It's what you came in here with as a soul. So even ancestral material can be held in there and can be opened up in South Node territory. So just know that this line is illuminated. And it's illuminated by some like fiery god of war energy and Pluto, Hades, who is the dark masculine that I was just talking about, who's with Venus right now. His consort Persephone, queen of the underworld. She really calls us out to grow up, to mature. She calls us to move from princess or prince to queen and king. She really calls for a maturing process. And if you can feel that together, she's asking you to step into your queendom, your kingdom. She's asking you to up level, to really mature into your North Node, which is future vision, soul purpose. It's stunning. Like, she's beautiful to have there because she's all about evolution. She's all about becoming your allness. That was her whole journey. Her whole journey was to dive into the underworld, to open up to her allness, to open up to all of the aspects that she wasn't able to as a maiden, being very protected and held by her mother. All right, so just feeling into that little aspect. Let me see Jupiter. we're talking about this grace-filled aspect, and I was talking about that with the Shiva conjunct the sun. Jupiter's in a beautiful, beautiful aspect to this full moon, in a supportive aspect. Jupiter brings expansion, brings grace, brings dream bigger energy. How I'm feeling this all kind of weaving together is the more that we can lean into masculine gifting, which is the podcast that I just did, the live circle that I just did in our Facebook group. If you're not a part of our Facebook group, it's beautiful, it's community, it's glorious. Doing lives is wonderful, and it's a great way to connect. There's great conversations. You can join us. Link is down below, and I'll put it up here too. Also, I'll put a link to the podcast around divine masculine gifting. It's powerful. It's more transmission-y. It's more of like an exploratory workshop into divine masculine. So you'll find that there and down below too, or up here somewhere. I don't know where it goes, but somewhere. If we can, in this astrology, not just on the full moon, but leading up to it, and even like days after it, probably weeks after it, if we can really call upon divine masculine grace. So feel into who represents divine masculine to you. Is it Shiva? Is it Christ light? Is it something else? Is it the sun? Like for some of us, the element of sun is just divine masculine. Is it, what is divine masculine energy for you? And really call in, here's another thing. Ooh, this is a good one. Like in shamanic traditions, and you do soul retrievals. You do soul retrievals, and they're beautiful and they're powerful. This is like spirit retrievals. So if soul retrievals are and soul retrievals are often, they're earthier, right? They're earthier. They're like in the shamanic traditions is where you do soul retrievals, and you'll do like lots of lower chakra, very embodied, right? That's like soul retrieval. Some of you have probably done some of them with me. But this is this capacity to do like spiritual retrievals. It's like your, if you've had past lives, now I'm getting wild. If you've had past lives on other planets, this is a time to, like for me, Pleiadian energy is just so loud in my life right now. It has been, it's just an energy I'm very connected with. It's very off planet. It's very, outer spacey. It's very like intergalactic. It's very high vibrating. It's very high vibrating. And whether we believe in aliens or not, or whether we believe Pleiadians is real or not, it's a high level archetypal energy. It's an archetypal energy. It doesn't sit where gods and goddesses do, like Venus and Pluto. It sits at a different level of consciousness, a different state of consciousness. But so for those of us who are like Hathors or Pleiadians, or there's like a bazillion of them, or even if you don't necessarily know what you're kind of called to, as long as it feels true, it feels right, it feels benevolent. Everything is about it feeling true and right and benevolent, right? Anything else, don't do weird. We don't need to do black magic, right? That's just gonna totally mess you up. But this door is open to do spiritual retrievals. And if you're like, I don't know about this, don't do it on your own, right? Like, do it with a trained professional. Let's all really own our own paths. Let's take responsibility for ourselves. Let's not say, oh my God, Sabrina told me to do a spiritual retrieval, and then I pulled in some dark fucking force, and now my life's fucked up. No. Right? We are working in soul energy. We are working in Shakti, which always is in our highest good, always in our best interest. I'm sorry that I'm going off about this. I just need to, because sometimes we hear something the wrong way, or we assume it's something else. Just really, 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 really own your fucking path. Own it. Own your path, own your choices, own your practices, own what you're doing, right? But now is a time where we could call in more of our own high spiritual light, our own high spiritual truth, our own like high spiritual wisdom is like pouring in. So this can open up different gifts for us, different spiritual kind of gifts, like capacity to be clairvoyant, capacity to almost like, man, oh man, this is hard to do with this door open to this Pleiadian energy. And It's just so, it's like connecting into another state of consciousness. Let me bring this down to earth so I don't sound like I'm super fucking crazy, which is totally fine if you think that too. But it's like connecting into a higher way of loving, like a higher consciousness of, oh my gosh, we can love that way. Oh my gosh, that's like higher than the human existence. I can't believe I'm going here. This is such a sign of this full moon, right? This, for those of you who've been around for a while, you'll know this is probably the first time I've really ever talked on this level. This full moon is also, let me share a little bit more about this like high vibrating intergalactic channel being open, is this full moon lands, the sun being conjunct Shiva is on the, let me get the words right, the Galactic Center. And the Galactic Center opens these portals to extraterrestrial. I don't even like those words because then there's all the connotations of alien and extraterrestrial, but it just opens to intergalactic energies. And so just feel if that's something that's your thing, beautiful. This is a beautiful, beautiful time to connect in with higher vibrating intergalactic energies and to almost like allow the wisdom of those higher vibrating galactic energies to pour in. Really and truly, it's like they're showing up to teach. They're showing up to teach. Like I've been taught just ways of love, ways of loving so that it's less human love, less conditional love, like I will love you if this, and more higher vibrating unconditional love, like high level love. So just being open to that for many reasons, right? It's like this divinely beautiful, perfect lineup, and knowing that the last new moon was conjunct, I have to look really quick, because I get these mixed up and I don't want to mix them up while I'm talking to you, but this last new moon was conjunct the great attractor. And the great attractor, we talked about this in the last video. You can always go listen to the new moon video. I'll put a link here and below too. But the great attractor like pulls out, it's like a karmic vacuum, right? And it's just like any thing that no longer serves, let me just pull, let me release this from you, and you can almost feel this practice in your body. This could be an embodiment practice of just, you can still lean into it. The portal's still open. It's still very present. And you just can feel like karmic tendrils, karmic threads, all the things that do not serve, ancestral stuff that doesn't serve, past life stuff, right? All of the south node stuff that we talked about earlier when we talked about Mars coming across the south node and that being lit up. You can lean into great attractor and just do a practice where you kind of like fire up great attractor energy, or you get on your hands and knees and pray. Like, please, great attractor, remove shitty old karma that no longer serves. And don't be sad when things don't get removed. You're just not done with them yet. So don't be sad when like some of the karmic stuff stays in the karmic backpack. You're not done. So let's also not push. Let's honor that our path is fucking perfect. Even the challenging stuff, even the like, oh, why does this keep repeating, right? It will stop repeating when we're done with it, when it's done being our teacher, when it's done serving us. All right, so you can lean into that. And then a practice that you could do is lean into that, release all of that, and almost like going, that's releasing and almost like drawing in spiritual retrieval. It's like wisdom. You might feel like you're drawing in parts of self, but to me, it doesn't feel like soul retrieval where it's like lost parts of self, reclaiming lost parts of self. To me, it's more like wisdom, like high level wisdom that a lot of times the brain can't even comprehend. So it's like you just allow this high level wisdom to come in. Maybe it goes into your heart. Maybe that high level wisdom is teaching your heart how to love in a higher way. Maybe that high level wisdom just comes and hangs out in your third eye, and it's shifting your perspective so that you can see without judgment, or see with clarity, or so that you can see in a way that allows you to discern what path to take that is most aligned with your highest unfolding in your destiny, right? Okay, so that's a way to work with those. Let me see if there's anything else. This is the last piece that I want to talk about. The moon is in Gemini. It's a Gemini full moon. There's a couple of other pieces. I don't want to talk about that. I want to just keep this to Gemini, and Gemini's mind. And there's also an alignment with Mercury. Mercury is mind, Gemini is mind, and just know that there's these alignments, and the mind it's like the full moon is shining on the mind. And if we can give our mind some space, like give it some space to think about, to kind of come in tune with, to translate maybe some deeper callings, some deeper truths, right? So let the mind get involved. It's in this full moon. It's being lit up. And we can lean into, okay, let my mind translate my heart's desires. Let my mind translate my soul longings. So but you have to give it some space, right? We can't just be constantly go, 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 go. We have to give it some space, give it some like good mind time, maybe music, right? Binary beats. What is it that's going to help your mind to open up, to see, to hear, to let the thoughts calibrate to where we're being called, where you're being called, what you're being called to see. It's not even like a what necessarily. It's just like the next breadcrumb on the breadcrumb trail, your soul's breadcrumb trail. And it might just be that, the mind picks up like, I should call my parents today because that is what would serve. I should, I don't know, whatever the breadcrumb is, right? They don't have to be big. That's why I'm sharing little random examples. Sometimes we think, oh my gosh, the next breadcrumb, it must be a big, bright, shiny, but it can literally be pick up the phone, or it could be spend an hour with your child, or it could be start walking every day for 20 minutes, or start meditating with Sabrina every day. I'm just kidding. Although it would be fun if we got to meditate every day. All right. Let me feel if there's any last things. I just want to give you a lot of love for this full moon. Solstice is coming up. That last square of Saturn Uranus is coming up. It's kind of chunky, crunchy, challenging times. Chunky. I don't know where that word came from, but maybe it is chunky. I'm sure I'm going to be eating way more food than I normally do, so maybe it's a chunky time for me. But really, if I can offer something, is that give yourself that time space, that time piece. Just, like, even if I give myself 5 minutes, just 5, even if it's like I have to go shut myself in the bathroom because it's, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation at my house and it's crazy and I just need 5 minutes, or I have to get up a little bit early so I can light a candle and just stare at a candle because I'm wigging out, or come and hang out and listen to a podcast if that's supportive, or come hang out in our Facebook group if that's supportive, right? Do 12 days of circle. I don't know if that's going to be on by the time you get this. Come and I just like, there's free workshops on rewildingforwomen.com. There's a free workshop on sabrinalyn.com. That's a really good heart centering one. That might be really good over the holiday season. Sign up for the free week of Mystery School so that maybe once we make it through the holidays, we're starting January 1, come January 1st, you can be like, and we could just hold you. We could just hold you in temple space. So just a few different things to think about and to feel into during this time. I hope that this serves. If it has served and you feel like there's someone else who this might help, please share it with them. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. We're doing videos kind of randomly now. They used to be every Wednesday, but we're doing more videos. If you subscribe, you won't miss anything. I would love to hear in the comments below what aspect most stands out for you. So if you feel to share, I would love to hear what of these different aspects that we talked about most stands out for you. I think this will be really fun to just feel and to see like which one is illuminated the most, at least here in our YouTube community. All right, so much love to you. I will see you where I see you, when I see you, and how I see you. Mwah.